Hey everyone, this is Alex Orchilles from Aeon Prestige Media, and in this video I'll be explaining the behind the scenes setup that I use to be able to get these shots of the FIBA Women's Americup trophy at the FIBA office in Miami. First off, I'd like to thank my client Jaime for giving me the opportunity to come do this shoot for the trophy at the amazing FIBA office in Miami. It was honestly an unforgettable experience. Jaime, if you're watching, thank you. So basically, he reached out to me saying that the trophy was in town at the Miami office and that he wanted to create some video and photo assets to be able to promote the tournament, which took place in early July in Mexico. Since they only had the trophy at the office for a few days, we had to work quickly. His initial ideas were to A, have a black background, B, light the trophy from above with a spotlight, and C, set the trophy on the conference room table, which has the texture of a basketball court's wooden flooring to give the illusion that it was actually taken at a basketball court. Now, typically when a client gives you their ideas, you don't just deliver on what they want. As a creative, you should think of how to make the shoot a bit better by adding some flair. Make it something that you'd love to share on your website and social media pages. I then thought of the idea to add in some RGB lights to match the branding of the tournament or FIBA as a whole, so it's not too plain. I also thought of having the trophy on an electric Lazy Susan where we can have the trophy spin indefinitely and I could just film wide and tight shots of the trophy with the black background. The Lazy Susan would also add a bit of movement and interesting reflections from the three lights that I would use for the setup. After defining all of these details, I packed my car and headed down to Miami to get these shots before the trophy had to travel to Mexico. Upon arriving, I noticed the large FIBA logo in big bold letters on decorative wooden slats and encasing of multiple jerseys, USA, Argentina, Brazil, and Puerto Rico, and of course, a half court in the middle of the industrial and exposed New York loft-styled office. This place looked epic. Jaime then showed me to the conference room where the long wooden table was, and I got to work. First things first, when I first arrive on any set, no matter how big or small a production is, I do a quick scout of the area. I needed to see the size of the table, the area around the table, where the electric wall outlets were, how much light would leak onto the set and from where, how much clearance I have for the black backdrop, where I can put the other black flags to cut as many reflections and light as possible, where the C-stand with the light would go, where the C-stand with the final flags would go, and various other little details. This is honestly the most important part of any production because your brain is moving at an extremely fast rate, planning the entire setup that will take you about an hour to do, and if you don't do this correctly, you'll have to move stuff around until you get it right. At this point, I took a look at the trophy, set it on the table, grabbed the camera to view the options that we had for the framing of the shots. After scouting the area and checking the camera, I decided to set the trophy where the shot would take place and then start working around it. I put up the black backdrop behind it with each stand on one side of the table. I then clipped the black flags to the dry erase board that was just to the left of the trophy. I set up the C-stand on the right side of the trophy with the light facing down. I set up another C-stand next to the one with the light to carry the final black flags, and then I moved on to setting up the tripod. For this shoot, I was going to be using the Sony a7 IV with the Sony 70-200 f2.8 G Master. I also used the Sony 85mm f1.8 lens towards the end of the shoot. The placement of the trophy allowed me to be at 70mm and getting most of the trophy in the frame, but also blurring out the background to not bring any unwanted attention to the wrinkles in the backdrop. We then turned off the house lights, rolled down all the blinds to cut out ambient light, placed the Lazy Susan in frame with the trophy on top, I then added the RGB LED lights on both sides, showing the branding colors as instructed by Jaime, which were purple and orange. After getting some more shots, I decided to review everything on the laptop to have a larger screen where I can zoom in and be sure of my focus and settings. After seeing these, I decided to diffuse the top light a bit so it would result in less of a shine on the top part of the trophy. Since the light was more diffused, it became less of a spotlight and resulted in light leaking throughout the set, making me have to raise my f-stop, speed up my shutter, or drop my ISO to compensate for the extra light. In my case, I sped up the shutter speed a bit. Here are the final results of this setup. So this here is the Yongnuo YN360. This one I believe I picked up on Amazon, and it has full RGB. You just need to adjust the colors as needed. So let's say we're going for a pink or perhaps a little bit more of a purple. The settings on the back of this are RGB, so you can add red, green, or blue in increments of 1 from 0 to 99. So this combination here gives you purple. This is 19 red, 99 blue. If we take out the red, it just becomes blue. If we add green, it becomes teal, and so on and so forth. So I really like this one because it's somewhat diffused. It has a kind of like a clear diffusion layer on the LEDs. And this is powered by this battery right here. These are the standard NP F750 or 770. These are the ones that power pretty much everything. So I'm sure you have these in your studio. So the other LED light that I used was this one right here. This one fits in your pocket actually. It's very small. This is the Moman MFL06R LED video light. This one you just power with USB-C. It has a very good battery life. And this one has 360 degrees or settings of LED. So right here, I'm just holding on this side, the FN button, or dial, and it pretty much hits the entire RGB spectrum. I believe this one was being used as orange, and then the other one was being used as purple. So this has a dimming feature. So right here it's at 18%. And then we can just swap the RGB tone. This is one of the lights that I always have in my camera bag, charged at all times. It has a screw down here under the light, and then one to put it as vertical. Battery life is great, highly recommend this. You can get this on Amazon as well. The main light that we used as the spotlight was the Godox VL300, which is actually my key light right now, and I highly recommend that one as well. I believe it is discontinued, but it is very similar to the 120D. Although this was a very simple setup, I think it's one that can be reused for multiple different products and altered for different looks. It was a very fun shoot and was extremely nice to be able to have creative reign over the shots. Jaime, thanks again for this. I'm looking forward to the next one. Let me know what you think about this setup in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video or if it brought you any value, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more filmmaking, photography, and travel content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.